I have done a Temazcal ceremony here in the south of Spain yesterday. I'm feeling so calm, renewed, grounded, just like this rose from my garden. And just wanted to share my experience for those that have never heard perhaps or haven't tried this wellness and spiritual experience. Temazcal is an ancestral shamanic ritual practiced by ancient civilizations throughout Central North America, including the Maya, Aztecs and Toltecs. Why do a Temazcal ceremony? It's a really beautiful tool, natural, with no substances, that helps with purifying your body, but also the mind. It can be very spiritual in its nature and can bring a lot of renewal into one's life. The experience is led by a trained guide or a shaman that's called a Temazcalero. And Temazcali actually originates from the nahuatl language of the Aztecs, and it means the house of steam. My experience yesterday was led by a Spanish woman that I've known for quite a few years. She's been trained in the Mexican tradition, and she combines really beautifully Advaita Vedanta, the study of non-duality, with these ancient traditions. And so she shares this philosophies, this knowledge, this wisdom that goes through her during the ceremonies, and to me it's very valuable. I've experienced Temazcal a few times in my life here in the south of Spain, and also once in Mexico, and I must say that the one in Mexico was a lot weaker. It was geared a bit towards tourism, and so I didn't go as deep and as didn't feel as spiritual to me. So I'm really blessed to have this experience right here in Spain that feels really authentic and really deep. A Temazcal is a dome-shaped space that's typically made out of mud or stones. Hot volcanic stones called abuelitas are placed in a pit in the center, and typically there's water infuses different herbs that is poured over them that generates a lot of steam. Temazcal has a lot of physical benefits, of course, for the body due to intense perspiration. Your toxins get flushed, your immune system gets a boost. It can alleviate muscle and physical pain. More than physical benefits, there's also a lot of mindfulness involved, and can be quite an emotional and spiritual purification. The Temazcal can reach up to 50 degrees Celsius, so it can be quite intense. So how our ceremony was led yesterday, again, this can vary greatly from country to country, and I suppose from each guide, because they can bring their own wisdom and knowledge into it. But you gather typically, and there's a big fire being made where the volcanic stones, the abuelitas, are placed, and it takes about 2 hours to heat them up. During that time, you are invited to reflect, to say your prayers, put your intentions. So it's really a time to connect to yourself. Songs are being sang, typical Temazcal songs, and yeah, it's just a beautiful time to center and prepare yourself for this ceremony. Then once the stones are ready, you are invited to the Temazcal. You're being cleansed with copal or herbs, and it is said that the Temazcal represents the mother's womb, and so when you enter it, you symbolically die, and you get reborn when you come out. There are typically 4 doors, they're called, so they represents 4 directions and 4 elements, and the heat typically gets built up with each door. I'll be honest, I have not managed to sit once without coming out, at least for 5 minutes, because yeah, it's intense, at least the way it's done here. So once all the participants are in a circle, they sit right on the earth. There's a pit in the center, and the first stones are being brought. They're nice and bright red, heated up, and yeah, typically there's a song that sang "Bienvenidas abuelitas," and it's welcoming the grandmothers, which is really beautiful. And once they're all brought in, they close the door with a very thick blanket, and so it's complete darkness. Then the guide pours some water with some herbs, and that generates a lot of steam. So the first door represents the element of earth, and you're invited to come into your body and just sit within yourself, with yourself in darkness. Steam is generated, and just to breathe in and receive all this medicine. And typically you say your name and your intentions, why you're here, what do you want to purify, and different chants are being sang, words of wisdom are being told. So yeah, the first door is just the beginning. I guess it can be already intense, but it's still doable for me. Once the element of earth is worked, the blanket is lifted up, and so some fresh air can come in, and yeah, you get a bit of relief. You sit a bit like this, or some chanting, and then you get like a bit of a break, and then they're inviting again more abuelitas, more stones, and they close the door again. So the second door is the element of water, and that's working with the emotions, and this is where it got really intense for me, really uncomfortable. It was really confrontational, and but also very healing, because this is where your mind starts really going into loops. Why am I here? This is silly. What am I doing? Oh, I'm not feeling well. I cannot take it anymore. And it's just so much resistance coming out, and painfully beautiful to observe what my mind does, what loops it goes into, how much resistance I have to discomfort, how much of a emotion it can bring, and like being like a child, I wanted to throw a tantrum, really, like, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I here? And yeah, it was very confrontational and intense emotionally. I had to stop for a while because my neighbors were cutting the grass, which is beautiful, but I don't think it's that great for the video. And it's funny because I had to stop exactly the story when I had to come out of the Temazcal. So after the second door is open, after the element of water, there's a bit of a break, so everyone stays in except me. I was outside on the grass dealing with my emotions, but they're offering water to everyone, a few rounds of water, and you can drink as much as you want, and you're encouraged to, because of course from all the sweating you can get quite dehydrated. So yeah, it's a good break to have. So I stayed about 15 minutes maybe outside, trying to recover a bit, and then I chose to re-enter. So the third door is the element of fire, and it's our mental plane, and again there we work through more of the mentality, what goes on around our head, our thoughts, and the guide shared a lot of wisdom about the loops, kind of how we believe the thoughts, and how much energy we spend on our mental activity, on feeding the illusion, really, rather than seeing the truth, and how important it is to come back, just to catch those obsessive thoughts, and come back and remember yourself always, who is thinking this, who is suffering right now, who is trying to escape, and yeah, just come back to this state of an observer. And then the fourth door is the element of air, and it's the final door, and it's already when everyone's it's been an intense experience, so it's supposed to be more gentle. Only 4 abuelitas were brought in, but it felt very intense, especially at the end, because we were all waiting for the door to be opened, and yeah, we were invited to say our gratitude, and I really felt bad about myself because I said thank you, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna tell her thank you afterwards and everything I think, because every person was kind of sharing their feelings and saying gratitude, which is beautiful, but it was just like at that point I was just thinking about like, oh my god, I just need to get out of here. just don't share so much. That's the child in me, At least I'm honest about it, and yes, I have a long way to go to that centeredness and being just the observer of my feelings, emotions. It's a long way to go still. And after the swim in the river, we gather around what's left of the fire and just share some fruits, some food, and share our experience. Usually everyone is very peaceful, and some people have a stronger experience, some people have it less of it can be anything, you can never know. Even the guide shared that her as a guide, she doesn't know how it's going to be every time. It's how the energy creates depending on what people are going through and what is happening. So it's a beautiful feeling of peace, renewal. Your body feels really tired but really refreshed at the same time. And for me, it was a feeling of, I wouldn't say I'm proud of myself or I have achieved something, but it's a feeling of I've done it. It's like I've confronted whatever needed to be confronted, and I went deep and I stayed with the pain, the discomfort, and I'm sure I came out as a better human being after that, hopefully. For sure I learned a lot about my mental world, my emotional world, and I feel more enabled with the tools from this ceremony to deal with it in my life. So would I recommend it? Obviously it's not for everyone. If you're not comfortable being in a closed environment, quite tight, dark environment, if you are not ready to confront yourself and be uncomfortable, then perhaps it's not for you. But if this resonated in any way, if it brought interest, then I think you should definitely try it. It's a beautiful, natural wellness tool that brings a beautiful purification for the body and the mind. I'm definitely going to do it more in whatever country I can find it. I think worldwide it's become also quite a popular practice. Obviously do your research, who you're going to sit with, because I think the guide is very, very important. Someone who's authentic and can bring wisdom and expansion into your life. So if this video was interesting for you and you feel like you'd like to maintain this connection, please like and subscribe, and I'll be sharing more healing modalities. I want to move away from this word healing, of fixing, of all this madness that goes on and on, because we are not broken and we don't need to be fixed. I've been on this path of understanding myself better, of learning about myself for a while now, and just trying to see beyond what's the body, the mind, and the illusions that we keep on generating. I'm just starting my path to Buddhism, and I really like the idea that we are considered from the beginning perfect and whole and Buddha-like in our nature, and it's really about uncovering these qualities in you. Sure, there's things in all of us, there's darkness, there's good and bad. There are aspects of us that are, difficult to love, difficult to accept, and we all have them. But I personally don't want to be fixed anymore. And so, I'll leave you with that thought. And as always, with love, İana. Oh, by the way, these earrings I made came to me a while ago, that I really want to learn to weave like the indigenous people, and I did over the internet. and yeah, it took like 6 hours each, but it's a beautiful practice also of kind of like sitting and calmly weaving something very meditative, and I might turn it into a project one day, but yeah, just finding the time for this. Yeah.